Hey, this is Fountain, and today I want to talk about the lovely topic of separation. And I guess the crux of what I'm going to say is that it is often an illusion. And that gets created within our brain, obviously, due to conditioning and I guess other kind of various reasons. And, that's not to place some kind of judgment on ourselves, but it's always just good to notice that we do often create separation within ourselves, within each other, within our communities, within even just the earth. We often look out into a sea of people in the street and we can feel isolated. We can often look at a tree and can think that it has nothing to do with us. And even though it creates the oxygen that we inhale, right? So that's just one example, obviously, of how, I could be connected to that tree over there. And when we believe we're separate, we're obviously more likely to suffer because we can feel lonely, we can feel isolated. And then we can justify doing harm to ourselves and to others. Not that others are separate from us, but that's just to, I guess, give you a reference point. But when we believe that we're connected to all life, we can then sense how embodied we are and interwoven we are between everything around us. And it's not always an easy thing to do. And there's nothing that we do that is insignificant. We're intertwined with everyone's lives. And when we understand and feel that, we're more likely to come to a place of peace within ourselves, within our communities, and within the globe. And we're also less likely to put someone down because they're different than us, or we're less likely to mindlessly kind of consume and buy products that have very little purpose, in our lives. And more often than not, the solutions are quite communal, right? So if all places, in the world valued, healthy environments and healthy relationships, and when I talk about in relationships, I don't just mean your husband or your girlfriend. I'm talking about your relationships with your community, with your family, with your friends, with your work, with yourself. Then, if that was to happen in the world, then imagine how beautiful that could be, right? It would automatically stamp out so many things. People wouldn't even feel the need to be protesting on the street about anything, because we're then realizing that we're all connected. The things that people protest about wouldn't exist, and then the protests wouldn't even need to exist. You get what I mean? That's just to obviously simplify what it is that I'm trying to say. And I guess one thing I would like to share is an exercise that you could do that may help you with working on that. I'm definitely not perfect. There's times where I can be very quick to separate myself from a person because of the way that they are interacting with me, and I'm feeling quite triggered by that. But then when I realize and come back to the thing of, they're actually they're a human being, or they're just very similar to me. They might just see the world in a different way. They may have just had different kind of traumas or different experiences than me. So therefore, they may not be able to understand what I'm saying. So I've got responsibility, because I've noticed that, to then meet them where they're at and to show them compassion and to send them healing if they're willing, within their free will, to accept it. So yes, a good example is to to expand your heart and obviously your awareness, in meditation or even just contemplation about what you do and how that affects others, and choosing more ethical options if you want to, if you can see that there are, and not being quick to judge others, and remembering that they are part of you and you are a part of them, even if you've never met them in your life. I think a perfect example would be you're communicating online, maybe you're just sharing a post about something, and then someone comments on that post, or you see a post and you comment on someone else's post, and they may be coming from a different point of view, or they may be throwing projections at you, but it's your responsibility to remember that they are of you. And like, they might be, you know, a father of 3 kids, and they might, you know, they might just want to have some kind of comfort. So them saying certain things that might be triggering you or triggering others, it's not a green card for you then to get on the projection wagon and start projecting things to them. Don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to say that you shouldn't speak out for what is true. I'm just saying that there's always a better way to communicate what it is that you need to share with them in the most compassionate and kind way possible. Obviously, with online conversations, especially through written language, it's not always the easiest way to do that. It's always much easier when you're actually speaking with the person one-on-one, because then the degree of separation is much less, right? It's like when you're actually in physical presence of someone, you're much easier, well, not always, but it can be much easier to actually meet each other halfway and start to realize that you are not that much different than each other, you know? But obviously online, it becomes a whole other like can of beans, and it's a lot murkier. And that can be more challenging, obviously, but that doesn't mean that we can't keep trying to communicate with others in a more compassionate way and try and break down this supposed separation that we have of others. So yeah, I've just feeling called to make this video just because of some things that I've been seeing online in the last sort of, I guess, 8 months. And yeah, I mean, there's a lot going on. There's a lot going on a global scale, especially when it comes to like westernized society, you know, societies and communities that are very much like entrenched in like technology and social media. And yeah, I just wanted to, I guess this is to share this in hopes that it would help others with their process of coming to peace with that technology. And you know, I don't want to put down things like social media as being necessarily a bad thing. Everything is a tool, and it's really about how do we want to interact with that tool. And it's always our own responsibility as to how we want to do that. It's not someone else's, even though they're not separate from us, but we have to make the conscious choice within ourselves as to how we want to use that and what it is we want to say, and even just the energy and the vibration around what it is that we're saying. So sometimes that could be being silent. Sometimes that could be inviting the person to have like a discussion with you. I can't give you all the answers, but I can just share, I guess, this perspective. So if you would like to, you're more than welcome to leave some comments down below. I've also got some various ways that you can communicate to me in the description box down below. If you want to, we can do email, or do some more private discussions if you want. And you know, if this resonates with you, you're welcome to share with your friends, share on your page. Yeah. And I hope to see you in the next vlog.